Welcome everybody to the latest and greatest episode of Heighten Your Sixes with Sean Green. I got Miss Debbie Medina. Gach, that's where you say his
Yes,
name?
Gach.
Okay. All right. Well, she's a CEO. She's the co-founder of Senor Rio Tequila, a, a purpose-driven brand built from tradition, grit, and love. She's also the author of One Bottle at a Time and founder of a nonprofit We Care Outside Crusade, empowering families and children with special needs. Miss Debbie, welcome to your show. I mean, I really love your story and everything that you have accomplished really in a, I would say in a short period of time when it comes to a brand like yours on, or you are like on a national, global level to get the recognition, and everything you've done. So it's like applause to you and your late husband for everything you guys accomplished.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And the invitation to be on your show. I mean, this is exciting for both of us.
Yes, man. I'm really excited as well. And like I said, I got a chance to check out some of your other podcasts you're on, and just really kind of do a deep dive into you. And I just really inspired by, everything you have done, everything you've done, everything you're doing. So,
I appreciate that. We never know where life is going to take us. And some people will
mhm,
say, well, I'm driving that bus. And I say, yeah,
mhm,
you're driving that bus. But, sometimes our chapters are written for us. And it's honestly the path that we take, because there's always going to be opportunities that come our way. It's the ones that we're going to act on. And what feeds our soul. That's what's important, that you're doing
mhm.
something that really is, I like to say, your mission, or that you're passionate about. And so we
Yeah.
can talk tequila today, because that's what I
Yeah,
do.
yeah. I know you're very passionate about tequila, and see, like, from just learning about you, you're very passionate about everything you do, and you like, you really try to, I guess, really bring people up and inspire people with everything you're doing.
Thank you. Being an entrepreneur, it takes a lot of motivation. And people ask me, what is it? And I say, you just got to get out of bed. You got to get up every
Hmm.
day, because you don't have a clock to punch. You don't have a supervisor
Exactly.
looking over your shoulder. So when you decide to start your own business, it's really up to you to propel yourself to succeed. And there's a lot of bumps along the way. And,
Hmm.
I just say we go through a lot of life lessons. And in my industry, being in the alcohol industry, it is a bit competitive. There are
Hmm.
a lot of brands out there. When my late husband, Jonathan, and I started, over 16 years ago, there were not that many tequila brands. But today, my gosh, you go down the aisles in these big retail stores and it's like a shampoo aisle. So
Yeah.
many different brands. And what sets each brand apart?
What makes your brand like so stick out amongst, like, you so many varieties, so many different types and flavors of tequila? What makes your brand, like, I say like a high caliber brand?
Well, there's like three tiers. So you have your
Hmm.
mixto tequila, which is a tequila that adds a lot of sugars, and it doesn't say 100% the agave on it. So that could be a tequila brand that is very affordable, and you might not feel so good the next day because of all the sugars. Then there's the
Okay.
next category of your premium brands, where it is 100% the agave, but they're buying plants from different farms and how they make it. And then there's your top tier, which is your ultra premium category. And that's what Senor Rio tequila is, an ultra premium category. And what
Hmm.
sets it apart is that it's a family recipe that my father was making. The name Senor Rio is actually my dad's nickname. It's dedicated to him. It means Mr.
Yeah.
River, and it stems from my maiden name Rivera. So instead of Senora Rivera, they called him Senor Rio. And being that this is a family recipe, three generations back, and no additives, completely natural, and a boutique
Hmm.
brand. It's not found everywhere. It's only
Hmm.
at Total Wine and More stores. And so kind of
Okay.
like that fine fragrance that's only at Neiman Marcus. So you
Yeah.
cannot get Senor Rio at, Costco or any other stores, or even restaurants or bars for that matter. You have to go to Total Wine and More, and that's where it's sold at. And
Okay.
so the bottle itself is beautiful packaging.
Yeah,
It's
it definitely
nice
is.
presentation, but it
Hmm.
is truly the taste. And when you taste tequila, there's so many different notes that you'll pick up. And
Hmm.
we always say that not all tequilas are created equal. How it's
Yeah.
made, how it tastes, and how you feel the next day. And
Hmm.
there are the three staples, which is your blanco, then reposado, and añejo. And those are the three that most of the consumers buy. But we also added a
Okay.
coffee tequila called Cafe Elegancia. And then we have some specialty bottles, which is a double barrel añejo and an extra añejo. So it just depends on what you're looking for. If you're going to be mixing cocktails, if you're going to sip, if you're going to chill, if you're going to
Mhm.
shoot. So each expression is different in how we make it.
So really, you have a variety for I mean, whatever you may be doing for the evening or for with your family or friends, you have a flavor and a style that anybody can really express and enjoy themselves with. That's really beautiful. So what are some of the key factors to consider when launching a spirit brand in today's competitive market?
Well, I can speak from past experience because, again, Senor Rio's
Hmm.
been out for 16 years, but
Hmm.
packaging, of course, you want to have a package that's going to appeal to the consumer because a lot of people think about it, they buy with their eyes, you
Hmm.
know. So beautiful packaging, but then what's inside, the juice we call it. You want to
Hmm.
make sure that it's something that will be appealing, that people will enjoy. Is there a demand for it? Now, yes, tequilas are coming out left and right because
Hmm.
so many people know that tequila is becoming more and more mainstream.
Yeah, it
But if
is.
it's a category that is a bit saturated, there's so many, it's kind of hard to say, yes, I'm going to come up with a new brand. Most brands today are born out of a corporate boardroom, or
Yeah.
they are, celebrity. I'm going to
Yeah, I've
say
seen a lot
not
of
just
celebrities that
not
they
just
have brands. Yeah.
endorsed, but yeah, celebrity owned. And
Hmm.
so you need that backing because it is competitive. I mean, for instance, when Patron was, really big heavy hitter, and they still are. I mean, they sold the company to Bacardi, but they were
Hmm.
spending $60 million a year on marketing. Think about
Wow.
that. That's pretty deep pockets, which
Mm.
Senor Rio doesn't. So
Hmm.
when you decide to launch a brand in the spirits industry, just do your research. Know that this is something that's in your heart. I mean, when John and I did it, we were really wet behind the ears, if you want to call it that,
Yeah.
because it was a brand that was born out of family. We used all our own funding, never had investors. And so it really was a big leap of faith. And I cross my fingers and pray every day that, we're still
Yeah.
still here. Unfortunately, he got diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and he took
I'm sorry to hear that.
such good care of himself. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we just, never know what can happen. At the time when he got the diagnosis, it was as if our life was in front of a stop sign because
Mhm.
it was, oh my gosh, how do we continue building this brand and working so hard when we have to tend to what he needs, which was a lot of treatments and a clinical trial. And anyway, we went through everything, but after his passing, people would say, "Are you still going to do this tequila thing?
Yeah.
Maybe you can't do it." And I thought,
Wow. It was so
yeah,
discouraging.
I'm
Mm.
gonna I'm gonna continue on because this
Yeah.
is something we built together like a baby. And so there
Hmm.
was so much love and passion and grit and maybe a little craziness that went inside. But today it's a different market. I mean, there are so many brands coming out, but they have big backers. So
Hmm.
just, if you do decide you want to get into the liquor industry, um, be prepared because it is very competitive. Yes.
Yeah. So, but for as top tier brands, that's more of a smaller market space, right? Or I guess more of a niche market on that level.
Honestly, the market share in the ultra premium category is growing. Years ago, tequila was considered a poor man's drink. Not anymore. There are
Mm.
bottles that are in the hundreds. I
Yeah.
mean, some of them, when you go into, let's say, a Total Wine and More store and they have the locked cabinet, I mean, even in Las Vegas, they have bottles, not tequila bottles, but just other
Hmm.
bottles that are the price of a vehicle. So,
Wow.
with any spirit today, it's the demographic, who's buying it, and it's a collectible. So for instance, we have an extra añejo that's in a beautiful hand painted bottle, and the sales
Hmm.
price is over $300, and we can't sometimes keep it on the shelf. We have
Wow.
an interest list that people want these limited edition bottles.
So it's a
So
collection piece, like a collection piece
it
almost, so to
is.
speak.
It's a collectible. I
Hmm.
honestly, and I don't know if you can see it in the background here,
I can.
but it's a gorgeous bottle. It's all hand painted. And I said to my daughters, when I pass away, and if I'm going to be cremated or I'm going to be buried, I'm not sure yet, but if I am going to be cremated, just put me in my Senor Rio bottle. That one, the black and white one.
Yeah.
They're just like, Mom, you're so morbid. Just make sure you put that one up on the shelf. That's the one that's going to hold me. But
Yeah.
yeah, the ultra premium category is in high demand. So if you start Googling, different brands, you'll see that there's a lot of them that are
Hmm.
in the price point of a couple of hundred, maybe over $1,000, just depending. Now, that's not
Yeah.
everybody's everyday tequila, but your
Hmm.
your ultra premium brands can start in the $50 price point and above. Yeah, so
So
far, until we get tariffs. Now, if these tariffs come through, then of
yeah,
course that is going to,
that may change something, change the
yeah, that's
dynamics of
pass
pricing and
on.
things like that.
But so
Yeah.
far, yeah. But yes, the ultra
Okay.
premium category is definitely growing. It's almost on fire compared to years ago. And I think it was COVID. COVID was the time when everybody was home drinking. And,
Hmm.
it was kind of funny. They'd say, oh, what's in your recycle bin? Because people were just buying bottles and they
Yeah.
couldn't go out. And so it was their way of saying, well, I used to spend this when I was in the bar. So I look at it as whatever floats your boat. If you're someone
Hmm.
that wants to sip or make your margaritas, it's what you enjoy.
Yeah. What's gonna make you comfortable in your leisure time or time with your,
Yeah. And in
whatnot.
moderation, everything in
Hmm.
moderation.
Yeah. That's so true. So, how can like a small product-based business create an emotional connection with customers through storytelling? And it seems like, from hearing your story, you have a great story, very strong story with your family and traditions that's involved in the creation of your company.
Yeah, when we brought it to the marketplace, and like I said, we really didn't have experience in the liquor industry. My previous background was in real estate and banking, and
Mhm.
Jonathan was an accountant, and he worked in a liquor store
Uh,
when he was in college. But we
that's cool.
came
Y'all
we
had a
came out without, we didn't work for big distributors, or we didn't
mhm,
really, know, let's say, the ropes. And
mhm,
so we were out there self-distributing. We would walk into establishments, any place that had a liquor license, restaurant, bar,
mhm,
strip club, casino, hotel, golf club, country club, everybody, and
mhm.
say, hey, who does your ordering? I'd like to show you what we have here. And at that time, we only had the three bottles, the Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo. We sit
Yeah.
down, let them try it, give them the price list, and open up accounts. And so we opened about 100 accounts. And it was a
Wow.
lot of work because you're literally a door-to-door salesman. And this was here in
Yeah.
Arizona in the summer 2009, triple digits. And we were all
Woo.
going through a bit of a recession because the real estate market took a deep dive. And so we're selling this ultra
Hmm.
premium tequila. But we ended up getting a distributor. And, from that one, it didn't really work out. And then we got another one and another one. And a lot of the distributors, if you don't have the marketing dollars, there's not a lot of push. So eventually, when we opened the account for Total Wine and More, and they had a Spirits Direct program, it just worked for us and it made sense. So by having that account, we then would put our focus on going into the Total Wine and More stores every weekend, every Friday, every Saturday in the
Yeah.
stores and
Really promoting
talking to
it.
the
Yeah.
customers. I
Mhm.
was kind of like the Snapple lady, but I was not pouring Snapple. It was more
Yeah.
fun. And so
Exactly.
we would just, pour the tequila, and when people would taste it, and we would then, tell them a little bit about the brand and that we were the founders and how we started it. They loved it. We were kind of like, oh my gosh, I want it now. So it was, people supporting people. So
Hmm.
telling your story is important. And we were able to do that over the years to so many people, because then when they hear your story, then they go and
Hmm.
they tell someone else, and then they tell someone else. And I think
Yeah.
that's what helped us grow, because people appreciated that it was just, two regular people that,
Yeah.
had this idea that they could do this, and sort
Hmm.
of supporting the underdog, if you will, because we were
Yeah.
really up against these big
Yeah.
brands.
Exactly.
And I tell everybody, if it were bad tequila, I mean, let's just say it was really harsh and strong,
Hmm.
probably would not be in business anymore because
Yeah.
nobody would like it. And I say, well, 16 years just selling through the
Yeah.
stores means it's good tequila. Because if it were bad tequila, I'd be out of business. So based
Exactly. I
on,
mean, that's so true.
the story, the taste, the presentation, but
Hmm.
it really is up to the person that, creates the brand. And in our case, we're the founders. It was
Hmm.
going out there and sharing the story. And not everybody knows it,
Yeah.
but they look at it as, oh, this is a nice bottle, or maybe the team member in the store will suggest it. Hey, this one's selling well. This is one you would like. And
Mhm.
then they describe the different tasting notes. But
Yeah.
yeah, people do gravitate to stories.
Yeah. I think what's the, I can't remember how it goes. Think stories, stories sell. I can't remember. It's a saying, but I can't think of how it go right now. But it'll come back. It'll come to me. And but stories do really drive people though. Because even you think about like what even with like movie, like a movie trailer. It's a
Mhm.
small story of the movie. And sometimes it may not be the best movie, but sometimes that trailer just gets you, and then with your story and then the presentation of the bottles, it's just and people's and if place if you know the story probably before you go to the store, oh that's Senor Rio. Yeah, that's we heard the story about how it started, from our dad and how it was passed on a family recipe. And just that story alone, it makes people interested. People love supporting families. You gotta think about it. Like most of the most successful business in this America were originally like a family base, started from a family, so
Yes.
people love supporting families. What is some advice for navigating distribution and retail partnerships? What success you have with Total Wine and More over these years?
Well, I would strongly suggest either self-distributing or starting with a small distributor so you can at least build up. Because
Hmm.
a lot of the larger distributors, they want the big national brands that have the deep pockets. So,
Okay, that makes sense.
yeah, and Total Wine is great. I mean, if you have a brand, you can present it to them. They
Hmm.
get tons of bottles now over the years that want to be sold there. They want that shelf space.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I always say every no can be just not now, you know,
Hmm.
reach for the sky, that glass ceiling, break it. If you have something that you strongly believe in and you're not afraid to work, because,
Hmm.
even myself, I was just on a morning show this morning, then I
Oh, cool.
did all my work this afternoon, and now I'm on a call with you.
Yeah.
So, I don't stop
Cool.
because it's almost addictive. Now, I am a grandmother and
Hmm.
I have 7 grandchildren. I spend a lot of time with family when I can on the weekends and also after school and things like that. But otherwise, I am a little bit of a workhorse because I
Yeah.
enjoy it. So just go out there and give it your all. And even if you
Yeah.
have your distributor, you do what's called ride alongs. You go out with the
Hmm.
sales rep, and this way, as they're introducing it, you're right there riding shotgun and
Hmm.
talking about your brand, because nobody is going to sell your brand like you are, because that's
Hmm.
your baby.
It's so
Yes.
true. And that's going to really motivate and inspire people to even try it or even really maybe a lifetime customer if they get a chance to meet. I met the founder and creator of that company, today in the store, you know, and that's something
Yeah.
they'll never forget.
Yeah. And, I
Mm,
talk to everybody because everybody comes from all walks of life. And,
yeah.
I grew up very poor. I mean, my
Hmm.
mom was a single mom. I was raised on public aid. So looking back, I go, you know what? It doesn't matter where you come from. If you got the
Yeah.
drive, you got the desire,
I don't know where you're going.
experience comes. And you just got to go out there and always give it your best. When I was in real estate, one of my brokers, who was a little bit elderly, she said to me,
Yeah.
Deb, life is like a fight. You got to just wipe yourself off. When you get knocked down, just wipe yourself off, brush yourself off, and get back up there. And
Yeah.
so I always had that, Rocky mentality. If you remember the movie
Mhm.
Rocky,
I
get
love it.
knocked
That's one of my
down,
one of
but you
my
get back
favorites. Yeah.
up. It's just about making the best of what you have and learning and being patient. It doesn't
Hmm.
happen overnight. Maybe for some people it does. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
you stay the course. Yeah, and
Hmm.
just give it your all. Yeah, and have some
Yeah.
balance in your life. Because
That is
otherwise
true.
you can go crazy. There's this word called burnout. People would be like, "Oh, you work all the time. You're not getting burnt out." Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm tired of eating peanut
Yeah.
butter and jelly. I want to get a steak now, so I gotta
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
gotta
I,
keep
I
doing what
know.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, like the one they some people say when the belly starts rubbing the backbone, it makes you give you some motivation to get up and do something.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
go out and make some money.
That's right. There was this word, are you hungry? If you're hungry, you'll get out there. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
as I said, as an entrepreneur, you do push yourself and you know what you can do. And when you have to rest, you
Hmm.
rest. But at the same time, it's believing
Yeah.
in yourself, even though other people don't believe in you. When I started the
Hmm.
company, there was a few friends that said, "Hey, Deb, you better keep that real estate license just in case this tequila thing doesn't work out." Like, hey,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. People always do that. They always say this, that little thing you got going on, or this thing. You still doing that thing? Like they don't get it. So, can you share like how brands and alcohol industry can stay compliant while marketing effectively on social and like digital platforms?
Well, there are some rules when it comes to alcohol because obviously you
Mhm.
have to be over 21
Yeah,
and
exactly. I
everybody
saw
on
that. I saw that
social
on your
media.
website.
Yeah, everybody is
Mhm.
not 21. I mean,
Mhm.
honestly, 10-year-olds have their own phones now and they're on, Instagram and
Yeah,
stuff. So, yeah,
exactly.
you have to comply with your marketing and they do, sometimes flag you. So if you do have something that you post, you'll get something from that particular social media company that says, take this down, or
Mhm.
we're not posting this, because
Yeah.
they do, I kind of say, police some of their stuff. I do have a gal that does the social media, but I still put stuff out there. I do
Yeah.
like to respond to people because it's another way to connect. It's
Connect.
nice to know who are your fans. I still answer all my emails when people will write me and say, yeah, I bought the cafe here. Now they don't have any. And I'm just like, ask them to special order it, or
Hmm.
I'm sorry, but I'll see what I can do to help, or,
Hmm.
different things that people will, reach out about. But yeah, social media, it's something that has really taken over. I mean, when we
Yeah.
started, 16 years ago, it was out there, but not like it is today. And it's
Yeah.
all about, I
It's
guess,
everything now.
increasing your following and the algorithm. I don't get it all. So,
Yeah, me either. I'm not gonna lie.
you
Yeah.
might be talking to the wrong person on this one, but you just have to, I guess, just put the right type of advertisements out there so you're not gearing anything to people that are underage.
Yeah. I got
Yeah.
you. That's the
Follow the
biggest thing
rules.
is the
Mhm.
age.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Because you don't want to market to, anybody underage anyway. And
Right.
you don't want to like probably steer somebody down a path that maybe, they should be going out. So it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. So what's the role of the authentic brand values in driving like consumer loyalty, especially for women minority owned businesses?
Well, for me, it's been the connection with the customer, but also going to the Total Wine stores. And I've been
Mhm.
to so many stores. So I'll travel to the different markets, whether it's, Texas, California, Denver, wherever the stores are, Washington, and meet the teams and let them know about the brand and the backstory. But it's the
Mhm.
connection to with the consumers by being in the stores and talking to them. And then there's a lot of organizations that are, minority woman groups. So I do have the certification as a woman-owned minority business, and there's different events that you can go to for networking. So it's getting active out there in your community through those types of events,
Yeah.
being active where your brand is sold. In my case, it's the retail store, Total Wine, and then also the social media presence, responding to people, emailing, phone calling, doing different podcasts like this or
Yeah.
TV appearances. It's really making that connection however you can. And I'm always, a firm believer in the art of conversation. So a lot of times I'll get text messages and I'm just like, oh, I got to respond by another text. I'd rather just pick up the phone,
Hmm.
even with my daughters, they're, younger. So they're so used to texting. I'm
Yeah.
like, just call me and tell me what happened. So
Exactly.
really, I think I like the face to face, but it's hard to do that today. So, I
Hmm.
take, the phone calling over the texting, but I do text as well. It's
Yeah.
just having that connection. Yeah.
That's true. One thing I do like about the newer phones that they do have the audio message option. So
Yes.
I know a lot of times when it's like a long situation or story, like I just send an audio message instead of
Yes.
text. Yeah. So I definitely understand. But yeah. sometimes a phone call is a lot easier. But I do applaud you that, that you are, going into, like, I know you said that this industry is more of a male-dominated space, especially dealing with distributors and things of that nature. So just, being a minority woman and just, you know, persevering and being resilient and being a go-getter. I know you're all about action and doing it now. So I really applaud you for, your drive and tenacity. So
Well, you have to have a little bit of a thick skin. And, there's that saying, we all deserve a seat at the table.
yeah.
So, I am in an industry that is male dominated. I mean, if John were here, it'd be different. He's this
Mm,
big guy, former bodybuilder. But it's me, and I have Joe. Joe is
mm,
busy filming Criminal Minds, but when he's not, he's very
mm,
active with the brand. He loves coming out to the stores. And my gosh, when we do the meet and greets, people are just lined up wanting to meet him.
yeah.
They want to, snap a picture with him,
Yeah.
want to buy a bottle, have him sign the bottle. It's great
Exactly.
because he
Yeah.
has following of so many different people. And he's also pretty active with the veterans. I don't know if you get a chance to watch the Memorial Day concert. It's on PBS every year, and he narrates it, and
Okay.
it's
I'll check it out.
yeah, he and Gary Sinise do it. And I
Okay.
was fortunate to be there last year and the previous year. I won't be there this year, but the stories are just so heartbreaking. And, those, like you
Mm,
said, you were in the Navy, anyone that served in any of the different military, the
mm,
tributes to them, and it's just remarkable. So
okay.
he's got his following from the veterans, from his acting career, from the special needs
Mm,
community, and he's
yeah.
just a good person. Yeah.
Listen, man, it's really been a amazing conversation. Really, I mean, I'm really inspired and just really love everything that you're doing and everything about you. So I'm just really excited and happy that we was able to have this conversation. That reached
Yeah.
out and want to be a part of the show.
You know what? I think we were supposed to connect. So I
Yeah.
truly appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing, shining through,
Mm,
and letting
yeah.
people tell their stories. I wish you all
Yes,
the
ma'am.
best.
Yeah, you as well. So what's next for for you and the Senor Rio brand and the We Care Crusade? Like, what's like what's the next big move for everything you're doing?
It's a lot right now on the plate to do
Mhm.
what we're doing. So it's pretty much keeping it mainstream. Maybe working also on another expression in the future. So that
Okay.
that could be another uh, bottle that's coming out because of the demand for these specialty bottles.
Hmm.
And it's just creating the awareness. I want people to know that it is a great tequila that is also a tequila with a cause. And hopefully it's the book, because like I said, the book is just so brand new. And it's getting people to know about the book so they can learn the story behind the bottle and
Yeah.
trying these great cocktails. So just growing. I like to say we grow the old fashioned way, one bottle,
Yeah.
one person at a time. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's how it's been for 16 years. Is there
Hmm.
a way to accelerate that? Just doing more in-store events where Joe comes out and consumers line up to meet him, or
Hmm.
maybe do some type of fundraising where we can have something where we're going to raise X amount of dollars to go into the charity. So
Yeah.
right now it's just, I don't like to say coasting, but it's just
Yeah.
doing what's been working,
Yeah.
and maybe bringing on another expression in the future. Yes, thank you for asking.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Yes, I know the book, we can get it on Amazon and your
Yes.
website. And also for as the liquor itself, I mean, tequila itself is only exclusive Total Wine and More. So I want the followers and viewers to know that's the way to go find all your different expressions.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And please
So,
reach out. I don't want anybody to be disappointed. I hope you enjoyed the book. If you get the book, get the bottle, get the two, and make
yeah.
some killer cocktails.
Okay. All right, well, man, this is, like I said, this has been really wonderful and just it's really great energy, great vibration, this whole conversation. So I'm looking forward to maybe we connect again in the very near future and just whatever any way I can help promote your
Oh,
brand and your nonprofit, just let us know, and we definitely will be right there.
thank you. Well, it was an honor to meet you, and I
Mhm.
look forward to receiving the podcast and helping to grow your podcast site as well. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
All
Well,
right.
I found this has been the latest and greatest episode of Heighten Your Sixth Sense and Miss Debbie Medina, gosh, and we just want you to check out Senor Rio Tequila and also Check out the book, One Bottle at a Time, and also the We Care Crusade. So just support everything she's doing because she's a wonderful woman with a wonderful mission. And see you guys on the next episode. Much love.